few months back, while I was visiting with our friends Rob and Shirley Hayes, they gave me a copy of a novena we'd never heard of. Now, novenas aren't everyone's cup of tea, but I must confess that I'm a bit of a novena guy. So when I brought this one home, Linda's first reaction was, uh-oh, here we go with another novena. But as soon as we started praying it, Linda was the first to intuit that we were onto something special. The Surrender Novena is essentially a message given by Jesus to a Father Dolindo, who, by the way, was known to St. Padre Pio, who once remarked to someone, "Well, if you know Father Dolindo, why do you bother coming to see me?" The Lord's instructions in the novena are simple. Our part is to surrender to Him, and when we do, He promises to take care of everything. Sounds simple enough, but I have to admit that what helped me the most to catch on to this was learning how Linda approaches it. Here's how it works for her. She imagines Jesus physically present with her. She places whatever concern or need she has at the time in His hands, asks Him to take care of everything, then she walks away and tries to forget all about it. And when you stop to really think about it, that's the only reasonable approach to take. Once you've surrendered your problem, it's in the Lord's hands, right? He promised to take care of everything, so He will, right? So there's no longer any need to be anxious or even think about it again. The thing to do now is to trust. There is one little catch, however. Before long, our fallen intellect kicks in. I don't think that sounds quite right. Don't you care enough to worry? You're being irresponsible. You can't expect God to do everything. After all, God helps those who help themselves. Well, that's not true, is it? That's certainly not what Jesus tells us in this novena, and it's not what we find in the Scriptures. What we find are phrases like commit your way to the Lord, another way of saying surrender to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. Have a look at the Psalms. Who are the ones promised help? Not those who help themselves, but rather those who humble themselves, and those who wait on the Lord and seek His face, and especially those who trust in Him. If God's help is conditional on our helping ourselves, it's no longer grace, is it? We have a part to play, all right. Our part is to choose to surrender, and then to choose to trust, and to choose not to take back that surrender by worrying about it. Then you move on to the duty of the moment. You trust in the guidance and the inspiration and the grace that Jesus has promised as He takes care of everything. His words to Father Dolindo are pretty unambiguous. 1,000 prayers cannot equal one single act of surrender. Every act of true, blind, complete surrender to me produces the effect that you desire and resolves all difficult situations. So, trust only in me, rest in me, surrender to me in everything. Oh man, I can tell you, Linda and I sure long to get to that level of surrender and trust. According to Jesus, it's not only a place of abundant grace and peace, but one of constant miracles. So, we invite you to download your own copy. You'll find a link to the PDF file below, and we ask you to really seriously consider sharing this with others. We've been so blessed through this novena. That's why we're sharing it with you. But we couldn't be doing that if Rob and Shirley hadn't shared it with us. We can't help but think that in the midst of this global tribulation that we're all under, many would be extremely grateful to draw near to that wellspring of surrender and trust that Jesus will take care of everything.